It's been 74 days since a fire broke out at 30 Tughlaq Crescent on Tughlaq Road in Delhi. The official bungalow of then Delhi High Court Judge Justice Yashwant Sharma. It took almost a week for the first details of the incident to emerge and another few days for the actual pictures to come to light. While the fires were doused almost immediately, it is what emerged from the ruins that shook the country's conscience. Pictures of piles of cash that lay burnt and half-burnt as government mulls impeachment of Justice Verma, with the process likely to start as early as in the upcoming monsoon session. Times Now unravels the truth that has been established after a 33-day-long investigation by a three-judge panel constituted by the Supreme Court. After examining 55 witnesses, the truth has been chronicled in black and white in a 64-page report. This report, which has been accessed by Times Now, is currently with the President of India, submitted by the Chief Justice of India. Let's now break down the details of this report. What did the three-member inquiry committee seek to probe? The three key questions that Justice Varma was asked was to explain the presence of cash, explaining the source of cash, and explain the removal of the cash as well. So let's take a look at the contentions that have been made. Judge Verma said that no cash or currency was found at the site. But this has been firmly refuted by the recording that was made by both the fire department as well as the police officials who were at the very spot. The next claim that was made is that nothing was removed from the storeroom. Now, according to the probe report, evidence suggests that debris and burnt articles were indeed removed from the spot. In fact, Justice Verma had even denied that his staff or family members had even seen any cash. But the panel has also refused to trust the version of the domestic staff and family, citing their long-time association with Justice Verma, saying that they are unlikely to contradict him. Now, talking of family, Justice Verma's daughter, Diya, had said that the cash video could have been from any other location. But a forensic probe has verified the authenticity of the video, the location, the time, everything has been established. And now the most damning part of the probe report. The video, which was shot by one of the first responders on the intervening night of March 14th and 15th, which shows that Justice Verma's staff was in fact present at the fire site where the half-burnt cash lay. Watch this before we break down the significance of this video.
महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही है भाई महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही है भाई महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही है भाई
So you can hear in the background that there is somebody who is calling a man named Rahil. The man who is calling for Rahil is R.S. Karki, Justice Verma's private secretary, while Mohammad Rahil is Justice Verma's domestic staff. In their examination, R.S. Karki admitted it is in fact his voice, and Mohammad Rahil also initially conceded that he was the one who was being called in this video. He later changed his statement though, but what this establishes is that Justice Verma's staff was very much present at the spot, debunking Justice Verma's claim that his staff had no knowledge of any burnt cash whatsoever. My colleagues Bhavtosh as well as Rishabh are joining us on the broadcast with the details of what this report has found. This is a Times Now super exclusive. And Bhavtosh, take us through why this report is extremely significant after the panel had conducted a detailed report, a 64-page report being given to the President. What are the details of this report?
Pratibha, this report that has been exclusively accessed by our group editor Navika Kumar establishes two things. One, that the cash that has been half-burned and burned reputedly belongs to Justice Verma, who has yet not resigned. And second, that there was an attempt to remove the cash from his premises on next day, that is on 15th of March. The video also establishes two things. One, that his private secretary was present, and second, that his domestic help had a conversation with his private secretary. This can be forensically examined primarily because of the fact that this was videographed on a mobile phone, and these things can be forensically examined. The second question that should be asked by everyone in the country is why no criminal investigation has started. There are reports, and this is what the inquiry commission has also established, is the fact that there has been removal of cash, the unburnt currency. Now, the report mentions one very important thing, that when the police officials and fire department official went inside the house, and when the forensic examination actually happened, the total stash of cash was around 1.5 feet deep in a room whose size is around 10 feet long. So one can imagine the quantity of cash that was found, and that is the reason why everyone has said that there should be a probe, and the probe should be carried out by a federal probe agency.
Okay, all right. Stay with us. In fact, let's also bring to our viewers what the panel had concluded, that cash was indeed found in Justice Verma's storeroom, that the access to the storeroom was in active control of the judge and family, and the burnt cash was indeed removed from the site of the fire. This committee has also recommended the initiation of proceedings for the removal of Justice Varma. After this report was submitted to the CJI on the 3rd of May, he wrote to Justice Verma the next day, giving him two options: the option to either resign or to take voluntary retirement. But 2 days later, Justice Verma responded, calling the findings perverse and the probe unfair. But does Justice Verma have any evidence to back his arguments? It doesn't look like it. He has contended that the storeroom is under CCTV scrutiny, but he hasn't produced any footage to corroborate those claims. The money was planted and outsiders could have been involved. This is the claim that he has made time and again. Rishabh is on the broadcast with us on what could happen next. So Rishabh, as the detailed probe had been ordered into the same, and after the findings have come to light, there were two options that were given to the judge as well. Either he can decide to resign or he can take voluntary retirement. Instead, the justice has decided to brazen it out, calling these findings perverse, calling the probe absolutely unfair. So what's likely to happen next?
Well, what we're given to understand that, now the ball is in Parliament's court. No one but Parliament can take a step forward. And as per the procedures in Indian Constitution, not even Supreme Court can remove a sitting judge. And it is the prerogative of Parliament. So now what we're given to understand, sources within the Government of India suggest that in the upcoming monsoon session, there could be an impeachment, that can be brought in against Justice Verma. What we are also given to understand that for the impeachment, you need 2/3 majority in both the houses, and that's the reason that now the Government of India is trying to ensure that the opposition is on the same page as the government, and so that when the impeachment is brought in, the adequate numbers are in favor of impeachment that can further impeach Justice Verma and take the case forward. That is something that we are given to understand. Remember, monsoon session is something that is expected to begin in July. What we are given to understand that in the first week of July itself, we'll have the final dates of the Parliament, the monsoon session, and the government will try and get the major opposition parties, including Congress party, on board to ensure that Justice Verma meets the justice. Remains to be seen how things unfold. We have tried to speak to Law Minister Arjun Meghwal also. We haven't been able to have a comment from the Law Minister, but we'll try for that as well. Right now, many are not speaking much on this issue politically, but definitely opposition won't have an issue, going after Justice Verma is what we are given to understand, given that when on the day of Holi, when this whole, cash saga came to light after a week of Holi, the opposition was the first to demand the impeachment and probe in this. Hence, it doesn't look much of a task for the government to bring opposition on board. But, this is politics and remains to be seen how things unfold till the monsoon session.
Okay, all right. So the government will need 2/3 majority in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha for the impeachment proceedings against Justice Verma. He has called the entire probe unfair, but has been unable to furnish any evidence whatsoever to show his innocence. Bhavtosh and Rishabh, thank you for joining us with those details. Group Editor-in-Chief Navika Kumar, who broke the big exclusive last night, also spoke to the Supreme Court advocates and author Anand Ranganathan. Here's an excerpt from that conversation.
Nalin Kohli, the report was sent to the government probably on the 6th or the 7th of May. Does this report deserve to see the light of day? Do people deserve the right to know what is in it?
It has two aspects. There is an individual aspect with regard to the judge in question and his conduct and the wheels of law that must follow, whether under the constitutional provisions under Article 124 or otherwise in terms of the criminality that would be associated with the act and the process that follows there. The second is a larger issue with regard to the credibility of the judiciary. And I must hasten to add that while certainly this is a damning report on the conduct and it points towards prima facie what would be seen, some kind of complicity with high amounts of cash lying in the house, which are unexplained, that we cannot use this also to run down every judge, because after all there are judges who are performing their duties in a clean, honest manner, working from morning to evening.
Well, I want to ask you, Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, what are we waiting for? Why are the wheels of justice not moving for the justices themselves?
You and I are not protected by constitutional immunity. The only way of getting rid of a judge who does not resign is to have him impeached. But it is not as if impeachment can be done by ordinance. It is not as if Parliament can suddenly say, oh, here you're impeached, off you go. There is a procedure even there. There has to be a motion of impeachment.
I know the process of impeachment.
Yes, so,
my question is, why does the exalted court not take the call? Why does it have to go to the legislature? Why can't the justices take care of their own rot within? Because they've kept themselves at an exalted position, which is certainly not enjoyed either by the executive or the legislature or common citizens like me. You're right. We don't get that constitutional protection. They do. So why can't they take a call on their own?
Well, they did take a call. They asked him, please get out. He has refused. Once he has refused, the only way to do it is through Parliament. And they've handed it over to Parliament, to the government of the day, saying, please do whatever is needed. It is most likely that Parliament will consider this during the monsoon session. But it is unlikely that it will be passed in the monsoon session. If it goes to Parliament, then he has a right to put his case before Parliament itself. And through Parliament, he has a right to put his case before the people of India.
No.
Okay.
I'm tired, Anand Ranganathan. So many rights of the honorable justices, which is why we are calling this Operation Order. Operation Order is only for you and me and the common citizen of India. For them, there are only rights.
I want to talk about something else, which is a fact that justice is supposed to be blind, not judges. Do they not see a clear conflict of interest here, Navika? Imagine an IPL final, whether Mumbai Indians captain Hardik Pandya's LBW or not goes to the third umpire. And the third umpire turns out to be Mukesh Ambani, the owner of Mumbai Indians. Bags of cash is found in a judge's home, and what steps are taken? An in-house probe, a nudge and a rap on the knuckles with a feather, a one-way ticket to another city court, no FIR, no investigation of a clear criminal act by forensic and investigative agencies. The judicial system is broke, Navika. Let me explain. More than 50 million cases are pending in Indian courts. At the current pace, it would take us 323 years to clear the backlog. Worse, out of these 180,000 are as old as 30 years. As many as 244,000 pending cases are of rape and child sex offences. India is just 20 judges per million population, worse than sub-Saharan Africa. 1,680 complaints of corruption against judges have been filed in the last 5 years. Only 10% of judges have publicly declared their assets. 38% of High Court and 21% of judicial positions overall lie vacant. 76% of all prisoners are under trials. The wheels of justice aren't just grinding slowly, Navika. They have come to a halt.
So certainly the Parliament is not above the judges. The judges can turn down any law that has been passed passed by the parliament. So Sanjay Ghosh, what are we waiting for? Are we going to wait for public memory to fade away, for the outrage that is currently being felt by common citizens to just wash away, because there will be a process, that there will be, as Sanjay Hegde just explained, some sort of an inquiry in the monsoon session, the argument in the winter session, the argument and the debate going on forever and ever? Are we just waiting for public memory to fade away, outrage to fade away, so that we can brush this one also under the carpet?
Well, Navika, I must first compliment you for doing this program. And we have to bring this to the public day in and day out until action is taken. And hats off to you for doing this. But I say this with a sense of pain that, we have to listen to this report from you rather than the Supreme Court putting it out in its website like it put out the initial show cause notice and the reply. Okay, transparency, if we are for transparency, then there had to be a transparent thing. Two chief justices of a high court who have such an important task and administrative responsibilities, and one senior judge of the Karnataka High Court sat in Delhi in the Haryana Bhavan for 14 days to do this inquiry. What was the need of this inquiry when it was very clear as to what has happened?
It's a leading story on Times Now.